Hey, sir, can you be a little quieter over there?
This is my last hammering.
Thank you.
I assume you kids and I mean,
So, this side is our YouTube side.
Yeah.
She does a TikTok.
Oh,
as
TikTok,
well.
okay.
Yeah, it's always more kind of unofficial.
All good.
Yeah. So you can look between them. You can look at my uncle right there and just stare at him the whole time.
Yeah,
if
I
you
think
want.
that's like directly. I want to look at the pump truck.
Yeah.
What is he looking at?
3 minutes.
Perfect.
Okay, we have 3 minutes.
All right, now I have it here. Look, I did good, Nate. I can read the questions from here. Be over there. Life will be great.
I see you guys got in some steel gear. Add them.
Yes, well, one specifically.
Yes, one.
Are you on the YouTube live stream?
I can be.
Okay. And that way, when we start, so we know we have audio or not. It's always my greatest fear.
You have audio.
You have, yeah.
Hello guys, welcome to another Midwest Small Railroader manufacturing live stream. Today me and Katie are joined by Ben Wang from Aurora Miniatures. Ben, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ben Wang, and I am the president of Aurora Miniatures North America, Inc. We are based in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and we've been in business since summer of 2020. And we specialize in manufacturing HO scale locomotives, freight cars, intermodal equipment, and also N scale freight cars.
Okay. And then Ben, where are you from?
Yeah, so I was born in China, and my parents and myself immigrated to Toronto Ontario, Canada,
Mhm.
when I was 9 years old, and then I watched a lot of trains back in China and also here in North America growing up, and then my mom got me my first train set when I was 8 years old, and I've been hooked since. And at some point, I decided that like if I wanted really good model trains, I had to get involved myself, and here's the ending, I guess.
Nice.
Here's the outcome of my endeavors in getting into model train manufacturing. And yeah, over the
Nice.
last few years, we have developed several products, mostly HO scale, but since this year, we're doing N scale as well.
Nice. What scale was your first train
My first train set was HO scale, and then it had a locomotive, 2 freight cars, a caboose, and a loop of track and a transformer. Yeah,
Nice. Do you still have it?
I still have it. The locomotive actually has DCC and sound now, and I still run it from time to time. I've fixed it up multiple times, but yeah, it's still here, and it's still going.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so that's how you kind of originally got into trains?
Yeah, I got into. I love trains. So, and then at some point I realized that I had to get involved because I really like trains.
Yeah. So do you have your own layout at home?
I don't actually, but I belong to our local club. It's called the Scarborough Model Railroaders. It's located in Scarborough. It's a East End suburb of Toronto. Yeah, and then our club layout has our club has 2 different floors, and each floor is a different layout. So the
Nice.
ground floor is an N scale layout, and then the basement is an HO scale layout.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so we're a dual scale club. Yeah.
Nice.
And many of our members have HO scale and N scale trains that they run on their respective layouts.
So then, do you have a collection of trains as well?
Yeah, I'm mainly a collector.
Yeah?
I collect a lot of HO and N scale trains from multiple countries, multiple continents around the world. Yeah.
Cool. What would you say is your favorite one?
My favorite, it's probably the SD60F. That's one of the reasons I made the HO scale version.
Mm-hmm.
Is because my high school teacher, my computer science teacher, used to take us golfing at this place. It's called Remington Parkview. It's in Markham, Ontario, so it's just north of Scarborough.
Mm-hmm.
And then that golf course is very unique. It's between, I think, holes 7 and 8. The CN York sub runs through. So there's a grade crossing between two of the holes on the golf course. So there was one time we were playing, and then a CN manifest would just roll past, and then it would be an SD60F leading. So that was really interesting. Grade crossing inside the golf course. Yeah.
So what's your involvement in like the creative process when you're coming up with the new products?
Yeah, I conduct project research. Basically, I evaluate what kind of models should we make, right? And then a big method of determination is has the model been made before?
Okay.
So when we did the SC60F, it was because nobody has done a ready-to-run model, HO scale model of the SC60F, and also I personally wanted the model, and again, it's a CN locomotive which also ran in the U.S., so I thought that would be a really good model for our first entry onto the market. And that model was delivered in early 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And then since then, we have a whole bunch of freight cars that's released and also in active development. And then we follow up with the SD50F, which what you can see right here is our next locomotive, HO scale locomotive.
Cool. Is that one going to be similar to the other one you did?
Yeah, the SD. So there's some minor differences between the SD50F and the SD60F. Obviously, you have different class lights. The class lights on the SD60F is located on the nose, and then for the SD50F, it's located above the cab windows. And then the roof line is different. The roof line on the SD50F have some extra ridges and lift rings, and also the rear end of the locomotive is also different, where the SD60F, the sand filler is located on the roof, and then on the SD50F, the sand filler is located on the sides. Yeah, those are the main spotting differences.
So you do a lot of research into these locomotives before
Correct.
you start producing
Yes.
them?
Yes.
So then you said you started Aurora Miniatures, right?
Mhm.
Correct. Tell us like how you started it. Like, what was that like?
Yeah, it was really interesting. So the name Aurora actually came from the Chinese company. So there was a group of people in China that were making model trains, HO scale model trains, but only for the Chinese market. So you got Chinese locomotive and Chinese rolling stock. And at the time, I went back to China and met these people. I actually met them online, and then eventually I met them in person when I went to China, and then I saw the factory and I saw what they were doing, and I was like, I really love what you guys are doing. So let me, buy a stake in the business. I'll invest in the business. And then this was in 2018, and about a year and a half later, I asked the guys, it's like, hey, you guys do really nice work. Do you want to try your hand at making a Canadian locomotive? And that was the SC60F. Yeah, and then the business just took off, and in 2022, I quit my full-time job in order to make model trains. Yeah.
What would you say sets you at Aurora Miniatures apart from some of the other manufacturers that are out there?
I think it's the amount of work that we put in to make sure that we get all the details right. So if you look at our HO scale locomotives and freight cars, you can see that we go into depths as far as detail concerned that no other manufacturer that goes into. So for the freight cars, we omit almost no underbody detail on the cars. So whatever is that appears on the real cars, as far as the air brake components, all the components are concerned, everything is there on the HO scale models, which is really impressive. And I think we are one of the few handful manufacturers who actually do this.
That's really cool. How long does it normally, kind of on average, take to go from like, hey, I think this would be a cool model to produce, to now it is in production and you're shipping it out to stores and customers?
Yeah, really, for freight cars, our product development time is around 1 to 2 years. For locomotives, a little bit longer. Again, it really depends on the scope of the project, how complex it is. Locomotives may take anywhere from 3 to 4 years. So, like something like the SD60F, which came out in 2023, has been in development since 2019.
Interesting.
So it took about 4 years for the first locomotive to come out, but we're hoping to make things go a little bit faster as we progress.
So then does that leave you with a backlog of ideas and plans for the next
Oh yeah,
locomotives that you're working?
We get a lot of product suggestions. I personally go out and rail fam almost every summer whenever the weather is good. As you know, where I come from, it's really hard to go out when it's cold. So
Yeah.
we try to do it. We try to do as much as possible during the summer months. Yeah.
How do you decide which road names you're going to release when you do?
For freight cars, I think we're focused on the modern stuff, and by modern I mean anything that was made after the year 2000. So most of our candidates for freight car projects come from what I see when I go out to watch trains.
Okay.
So we're talking about things that run in the present day, and yeah, it's actually not that complicated. You just go out and see what's out there, and then you make models of it. Right?
Have you ever considered doing like fantasy ones, or are you sticking with prototypes of ones that are?
I
actually
think
out there?
I think for the Aurora Miniatures brand, we want to stick with authentic paint schemes. It is possible that at some point, if we decide to do something that's not exactly prototypical, or even like a freelance paint scheme, we would, but we would put it under probably a different sub-branding.
Got it.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's real smart.
And then kind of piggyback off of that, we have a question from YouTube. Do you have any plans to do like U.S. road schemes anytime soon with future releases?
Yeah, so we have our General Electric Dash 7s that are still in development. So that GE locomotive is all American road names. So I think it was Conrail and Missouri Pacific, which eventually became Union Pacific, and also Norfolk Southern. I think those were the roads. Yep.
With you guys doing in-scale now, will you go back and release in in-scale some of the things you already have in HO scale, or will it just be in-scale and HO scale moving forward?
Yeah, so for the N-scale, our N-scale freight car, the first N-scale freight car that we're doing is the 60-foot Greenbrier boxcar, because the reason we picked that as our first N-scale freight car, because it is our most popular HO scale version model, HO scale version. So we want to see how that sells, If it does really well in the market, we'll consider offering N-scale versions of our other freight cars. Currently, no plans to offer N-scale locomotives. Again, plans may change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. Do we have any questions from the audience right now?
Well, I wanted to add the thing that sets you apart with your engine is the moving fans.
Yeah. So the motion fans has been a pretty standard feature on our Chinese locomotives, and a lot of European manufacturers also do that. It hasn't been really a thing before we came to the North American market. We're just introducing some of the features that are considered standard in some other markets. We're just introducing it to the North American market, and then yeah.
Do you have any ideas of why U.S. market might not have a standard of moving fans, or?
I think probably nobody has really considered it in the past, or I think no, there was one other manufacturer that done it. The Proto 2000 FA, I think. But their version of the moving fans is a belt-driven one, whereas ours is an independent motor that's connected to the fans. So, yeah. So we're just all about doing innovative things, new features. Some of them are not, totally new. They've been done, just not on locomotives or freight cars that you see here in North America. Yeah.
So I have a question from one of the TikTok people.
Go ahead.
With it having so many different lights and things, do you release things for DC or all DCC?
So all our products have a DC and DCC sound option, and our DC models actually include the speakers. So should you want to upgrade your DC model to a DCC and sound model later on, all you have to do is remove the DC plug and install your own DCC decoder, and the speakers will work automatically as long as a standardized 21-pin decoder.
That's good to know.
That's interesting.
And all the class lights.
All the class lights
Different
work.
lights, right?
I believe for the SD60F, the class lights cycle with function 5.
And that's going to be the same on the field.
Correct.
Okay, so we have another question. We asked this of our Facebook and Instagram users earlier this morning.
Yeah.
Your dream train room, what does it look like?
I think I would, if I were to build my own layout, I would actually have my layout set in 2 different locations. And what I want to model is something probably very similar to the port of Shanghai, which is my hometown, and the port of a West Coast North American city. So I want to model something where intermodal transport gets loaded from a train in a country in Asia, and it gets on like the ship, and it comes to North America. So I'm thinking either a place like Long Beach, California, or Vancouver, British Columbia, and then that's an excuse to run actual scale trains from 2 different countries on one layout. So
yeah.
I think that would be that would be a really cool concept, and I hope to be able to do that someday.
Now you
Nice.
got to make a working boat, man.
You got a working container ship in HO scale. That would be insane.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
You got the container, now you just need the boat.
So then I guess it'd be safe to say that trains, as well as the model train hobby, essentially consumes your life.
Yeah, well, it is what I do now. So yeah, it's a lot of time and effort, not just from me, but we have a whole team of people. I think we have a total of 7. We have our own factory in China now, so we have about 50 to 60 employees that do everything from beginning to end. Yeah, so it's a lot of
Really cool.
it's a lot of cool stuff, a lot of hard work, and we're proud to be able to present all these awesome high-end products to the market. Yeah.
Of everything since you've started, what about Aurora Miniatures are you the most proud of?
I think it's definitely seeing all the customers appreciating what we do. Having customers actually look at the freight cars that we did and the locomotives and admire all the detail. That a lot of our customers are actually working in the railroad industry. They were I met a few people that were actually involved in the engineering and the design of the real locomotives and the freight cars, and then when I get approval from them, I think that's a really good feeling.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is
They're
really
the
cool.
experts, yeah.
And also just I think the most rewarding part is just being able to turn all these real trains into really nice models.
Yeah.
I think that's the most rewarding part is to be the driving force, I guess, behind improvements of the products that the model trains that we all enjoy.
Nice.
We know you're getting ready to release in-scale stuff. What else should people expect from Aurora Miniatures coming up over the next couple of years?
Yeah, so we're hoping our first N-scale freight car will do really well. If it does well, we'll make a lot more N-scale products. We have a lot of HO scale freight cars in development right now. Right now, I just can't tell you what they are.
Right.
But as each project becomes ready, we will reveal them, and then we'll let the public know, and
And you'll do that through like social media.
Yeah.
assume.
So probably the best way is to follow our Facebook page, facebook.com/Aurora Miniatures. Yeah. And then we'll post regular updates. Well, at least I'll try to post regular updates on there. And then I think we have 2 more freight car releases due this year. So the N-scale version of the 60-foot boxcar, and also the CN Transcona boxcar, which is the one, this brown car that you see here. They're due out at some point before the end of the year. Same goes for the SD50F locomotive. And I think that's it for this year. And then next year we'll have more products coming out.
Nice. Well, people have those to look forward to.
Yes.
Are there any final questions from anybody?
So you're doing the same road names in the N scale as the HO or the 60 foot?
Yeah, so the N-scale 60-foot boxcar, we will actually have the same paint schemes and the same road names as the HO scale version from the first run. So I think that's 66 different numbers in total.
I don't know if I can mention different brands here, but it's nice to have a different T-box other than microtrains. So, because like you see T-boxes on every single train. So.
Yeah, and also the car that we're doing is a different builder, right? So it's very nice to have some variation. Yeah.
And how many numbers are you doing for road names?
Depends on the road name. Some road names have 12 numbers and others have 6. But the bigger road names will have 12 numbers.
So the more common it is, the more.
Yeah, so
numbers
for
you're gonna
example,
have with that
for
model.
a T-box paint scheme, there's actually 24 numbers because it's split across 2 different paint schemes. We have the regular paint scheme, where the letters are in the normal places, and we have the high markings version. The high markings version, all the car data is actually located higher. This is in order to prevent graffiti from covering up on the real cars. And then those were exclusively built after, I want to say, 2019. So we have an older car that was built, I think, in 2019, and then a newer car that's built after 2020. So that's the key spotting difference, is that the lettering is different. And the lettering on the newer cars is higher up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Do you get support from the manufacturers of the real cars, like the gondola,
Yeah.
my favorite? NSC, do you have access to them when you want to do one of their cars?
It really depends from manufacturer to manufacturer. Some of the manufacturers are willing to help, others not so much. And we try to gather as much original information, and also from just observations in the field, photos and videos as well. Yeah, and then we do whatever we can, and then we try our best to get the model as accurate as possible.
Okay. Well, Ben, thank you for joining us today.
No problem.
Yeah. And thank you for joining us.
It's great to be here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Keep an eye out on our social media as well as Aurora Miniatures Facebook to see more about upcoming releases and when they'll be released. Thank you guys for joining us.
Pre-order the SD50F on our website too.